Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the stream.
Hello. How is everyone doing this morning? Oh,
Oh,
it's early. It feels early.
is it early? I guess for some folks it's really early. I love the anonymity of YouTube, but it's always a delight to hear, we've got folks tuning in from Ireland, from India, and I'm just like, it's the middle of the night, but it very well could be there's someone tuning in from Hawaii and it's the other side of the middle of the night.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, and who knows, like maybe your best time to write and hang out is, into the wee hours of the morning.
Great
So,
point. Great point.
yeah.
Yeah, many a great famous writer had their midnight to 3 a.m. routine. Not
What
me.
is no, not me. No, me either. I am elderly and I'm in bed by like 9:30 p.m. So,
I love that. That's my best self.
oh,
Yeah, well, welcome everyone. The game plan on this fine Friday morning, evening, afternoon is to write. Sarah and I are going to lead a couple of writing sessions, a couple of writing sprints. First, we're just going to chat here a little bit as folks trickle in. Let us know where you're here. Let us know what you're working on. If you have goals for the next couple hours, if you just want to hang out, that's great too. Emu, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Um, yeah, Sarah, it's Friday.
it's
I've been working hard this week. I think you've been working hard this week. Any kind of just reflections? I know this is a little bit off the cuff,
no,
but
this is
any kind of takeaways from this week about your writing life or your writing itself or anything you might think you want to share?
Yeah, I've been really enjoying. So Asa and I have been doing these story clubs on Thursdays where we read famous short stories and then sort of discuss them like college class style. And I have been taking away from the last several stories. It's just been such a lovely, I don't know, spread of, it's just been a variety. And every story there is so different. Every story there, I don't know, I've been taking away something. And so it's been interesting to look back over my work, um, which has had a very like, I don't know, you kind of get, I don't want to say you get into a rut with your own stuff, but it's really good to have those fresh ideas make their way into your work. So that's been a real treat for me. I also so I'm a chronic rewriter. Maybe you can identify with this, you out there writers. Maybe I don't know about you, Asa, but I find myself procrastinating by rewriting things I already have. And I thought a lot this week about getting in my own way in both good and bad ways. So, getting in my own way of not progressing by, giving into all these rewrites, but also getting in my own way of rewriting by putting up systems and blocks in place to keep future Sarah from doing that. So, it's been a
Oh,
rich week.
okay. I mean, it's way to bury the lead, Sarah. I mean, it sounds like that is the goal. So, what are these blocks that you've put in to protect future Sarah and your
Yeah.
rewriting self?
Yeah, I'm doubling down on physical media and I'm printing out what I write the day I write it when I decide like, no, this is done and I don't want to rewrite it. And I put it in a binder and I give it to my husband and partner Tim. And then I'm not allowed to touch it or rewrite it. So far this week it's been working very very well. I haven't rewritten anything and that feels really good. Like I feel like I'm actually I don't know, getting in your own way in a good sort of way is a new concept for me. I always thought of it as like constructing walls was always a bad thing, but it's like, no, this is like, you go bowling and this is like bumper bowling and it like gently keeps you in the middle of the lane on toward your goal. So
Oh,
yeah.
gosh, I love that. Okay, so for you, the idea is you don't want to get buried in rewriting. Is there a length of time that you wait before revisiting a draft or something like that? I know some people, I think Stephen King he finished it and put it in a box and let it sit for like 3 months or something, once having a whole first draft. Is there a timeline for you? Do you like when you finish a draft, do you finish the whole draft and then put it aside or like break this down for us.
Yeah, so this is kind of my first time doing things this way. My first season of Girl in Space, which is my fictional audio drama podcast, of which I am working on season 2 right now. I would write an episode, produce it, and then release it, and then write the next episode, produce it, and release it. And this time, I'm doing the whole season at once, like a big novel. And so, what I'm doing, I've been working on it for years, and I just need to move forward. And so what I'm doing is writing it, printing it off, putting it in the binder, and anything in that binder, I'm gonna let that sit until like the whole thing is done, until Tim has I think it's gonna be 13 episodes, until Tim has 13 episodes. And so that might be a matter of 4, 5, 6 months. I do like to let things sit for a long time. It's one of the downsides of like writing every day is that you don't often let things have time to like sit and marinate, and they need that. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I'm going to let it sit for a nice long time until it becomes so unfamiliar to me that I can edit it objectively. So looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for sharing that
Yeah, well,
process.
thank you for asking.
I'm excited for you. I've found at least that like little process tweaks actually are some of the most important adjustments I make. So I'm stoked for you that this chronic rewriting curse
Yeah,
has potentially been allayed for the time being.
thank you. Well, and what about you? You've been doing a lot. You've been making a lot of strides in your own writing. Do you have a big idea for this week?
Oh gosh, I mean, I think that I have several in that conflicting kind of thoughts. And I guess it's
Mm,
like I'm also struggle to finish things. For me, what's keeping me is a sense of like, oh, this isn't my best work, or
mm,
oh, this isn't the full realization of
mm,
my potential, which is sort of grandiose and egomaniacal, and perhaps also actually counterproductive to growth. It's like, oh, I've had this experience of like where I like a story, but I'm like, oh, but this isn't as good as this other story I'm working on. And even though I've already logged 8 hours or something of writing and sort of reading around that story and rewriting, I'm like on to the next thing.
mm,
At the same time, I'm just like, okay, hey, maybe just flow, baby. Maybe just go for it. Like, okay, you want to leave that be. That doesn't feel right anymore. All of a sudden my head is over here, my gaze is over here on this project. Maybe that's what I should be working on. Maybe I shouldn't
mm.
stress over the fact that I'm leaving behind a story, that I'm wasting work. So it's just navigating between these two. I find myself a really by temperament, I kind of maybe am hard on myself or like rigid. And so
Mm,
part of me is thinking counterintuitively here, where it's like, actually, maybe I just need to start abandoning things and that's okay. And just like keep jamming. I mean, it has been a successful week. Like I sent a story out this week, so I know I'm very, very excited. Hey, Mateo, welcome. Welcome. Yeah, let us know how you're doing. How are you doing, Mateo?
yeah, how's your writing this week?
So it's like that happened. And that was a finished story that I really like, that I'm really proud of. It's this one I've been talking about, Under the Pear Tree, which I shared that one paragraph in the Discord way back when. And so part of me is just like, just it's okay. It's okay.
Mm,
And that is the nice thing about short stories. It's not like I'm abandoning 8 hours of work versus 6 months of work,
or six
potentially,
years.
or 6 years. Right. We've been there too. So I don't have a conclusion there, but I don't know, maybe I should just maybe I'm having a conclusion in the moment here, Sarah, which is that it's okay to let some of these go. Maybe that's why I'm writing short stories right now. Maybe that's like actually letting these go is going to be the closest way to get to these ones that I want. And if I know that this isn't my best work, why finish it? I'm going to entertain that. I'm going to entertain that thought. Everything about me is like more of like journeyman, finish it, sell it, go get your $400, like hustle, work, make. You're going to get better by making, that is my DNA as a
Mm-hmm.
professional, not just as a writer, as a professional. So it goes against that. But hey, everybody needs a midlife crisis.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Let's just lean into
everything
it.
else is falling apart. So let's just go for it.
I
Takashi,
love
hi,
it.
welcome Takashi. Hey y'all. About what Asa said about letting stories go, I have a mental hack. There's
Mm,
something about recycling. You don't know how that story could pair up with something else. I like
mm.
that. I like
You
that,
know,
Takashi.
just real quick on that
Yeah.
note, do you do this? Asa, I don't know if you do this. This is something that I have learned for myself to do as well. So Takashi, I'm super on board with this hack. I call it my compost pile. And it's basically a giant file of everything I've written and really never used. Not everything. It's stuff that I was proud of that like doesn't that I took from stories or excerpts from larger pieces. And yeah, so I do love my compost pile. And it's interesting. You're talking about wasted words earlier. Um, I don't think they were wasted when I was writing them, but I also don't revisit that compost pile as often as I thought I would because I'm always having new ideas, you know?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
just like a security blanket.
that's the trouble with the wasted word idea because it's like, oh, it's fine. There was no wasted words.
Mm-mm.
But it doesn't mean you also didn't finish, right? Right? So it's kind of like it's not, it's like it definitely wasn't wasted work, but maybe there is something. It's tricky, and I mean, I read about these sort of career short story writers, like Bradbury, or there's this other famous writer whose name I forget, who was writing during that same era of pulp magazines.
Mm.
And in some interview, he laid out the 5 steps to become a writer in just some
Oh.
little interview, but it's since kind of become really canonized. And the 5 steps are: you must write, you must finish what you write, you must send out what you write. The fourth one is don't rewrite unless upon editorial request, which is tricky because that's you have to rewrite a lot before you send it out. But like that little nugget,
Yeah.
and then the last thing is keep what you write in market until you
Mm.
sell it. And it's just like it's so simple, but to execute all 5 of those steps is actually extremely hard.
Yeah.
And it's both liberating and terrifying because it's like it's actually really easy to become a professional writer. All you have to do is write, finish it, send it out, and keep sending it out. But then it's like, okay, writing a lot is hard. Finishing
Yeah.
what you write is hard.
Yeah.
Sending it out
Yeah.
is daunting, intimidating, sometimes expensive. For these
Yeah.
literary magazines, for example, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Oh, boy, I appreciate you saying that. It's sort of like, oh yeah, it's easy. It's easy to become a millionaire, just make money. Like,
Right.
come on, what's wrong with like I don't know. In practice it's hard. It's why a lot of people don't do it. It's why I'm so impressed with everyone in this community who are doing these things. I don't know, and I think it also the thought of wasted work is sticking in my mind now, and I think it depends on what you consider a waste. Um is it a waste if you don't publish it, but is it still worth your time if you write it and learn from it? There's a lot going on here.
Right. There is. There is. Yeah. I mean, why we write is everyone has a different answer to that question. Jimmy writes here, says you have to believe in your work. If anyone else in the comments
Ooh.
has thoughts about this, we'd love to hear it.
Ooh.
As you can see, this is an important question.
So Asa, I
Uh,
want to ask you,
yeah,
do you
sure.
believe in your work?
I really do. I really do. I do believe in my work. I think it took me decades maybe to
Mhm.
get there, or at
Yeah.
least that faith has sort of ossified in a good way and strengthened itself. But yeah, I really believe in my work, and I've seen my work really affect people. The show I wrote for Audible, it's called Six Sermons. It's
It's
about
good.
mental health. It's about suicide, and I got emails from people, and they were like, I've never, this made me think about my sister who died in a way I never had. I'm
Mm.
so thankful. And I don't necessarily need that kind of affirmation from outside, but it confirmed what I felt. And I do. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you for
Anyway,
sharing that.
y'all should go listen to Six Sermons.
You should. It's really good.
It's good.
It's
It's good.
good.
It's
It's
pretty
good.
good. Yeah. So what about you? I mean, how do you answer that question?
Oh man, you have to believe in your work. I
And
almost
just
want to
a
record a yeah.
one
Oh, yep.
5 second. If you're just joining us, this is our Friday public writers workshop moment. We've got a Discord. We're writing. We're going to be starting some writing sprints very shortly here. Um, Tell us what you're working on. Tell us if you believe in your work. What a fun question. Or if you don't,
Mm.
why? And if you don't, that's okay. Obviously, Sarah's about to answer this question for us. Sarah, I'm gonna post it again. I'm gonna launch the ball at you. Do
Oh,
you believe in your work?
oh, I do believe in my work, but there's so much that goes into believing in your work. And I think part of that, before I create work that I believe in, I need to trust myself and believe in myself as a writer. And often that is a missed connection for me. Like often I find myself writing. Well, and an example is we were just talking about compulsive rewriting. That shows me that I don't trust myself. I don't trust what I've written. I don't believe in that work yet. You know, if I'm compulsively rewriting it, I don't have faith that it'll do well on its own. And it's it's so hard when you're lost in the sauce of writing to be objective about something.
Right.
Which again is why it's good to let it rest and then not compulsively rewrite it 1,000 times. But believing in yourself, believing in your work, I don't know. I feel like that's a very freeing thing. It allows you to send stuff out and it allows you to continue going. Um, yeah, and it's I think it's something that I had to learn by doing. I didn't know how to believe in my work until I published something and felt what it felt like to put something out in the world and to have something that I could or, could not believe in. Um, but yeah,
I can
yeah.
relate to that. I can relate to that. There was like a real education that happened. And, I know the story there with Girl in Space. Girl in Space was optioned by Netflix. Is
It
that
was
what
bought.
happened? It
It
was bought.
was
It
we
was
had a
bought.
pilot, we had a green light, and
Oh my
then they
gosh.
restructured and
Right.
tanked a lot of shows.
Right. So context here, Sarah and I both have written series, audio fiction series, the one I mentioned before for Audible, and that show they were trying to sell to TV. And I'm sure for both of these projects, Sarah and I ran into a lot of commercial, like pressure to make the
Hmm.
project commercially viable
Hmm. Oh, that's so good.
to a
Yeah.
large audience. And I guess where I'm going with all this is like the believing in your work. For me, it was a real revelation to understand that
Mm.
there's a commercialized version of my piece that I can still believe in, and I can hold these two things in my head. That's like, here's this thing I wrote, and here's this thing that they're trying to turn into a TV show, and
Mm.
like it's not the same. And it was a real ego death in the best kind of way.
Mm.
Like, so Six Sermons, this show, y'all, it's mostly like scenes, but there's these sermons and there's these prayers, and the sermons are sermons and the prayers are prayers. And those parts of the shows just got lopped to pieces because, they're like, no one wants to listen to her pray for 2 minutes. And I'm like, this is the most important part of the show. And the prayers stayed and they stayed for like 20 seconds and so on. But I don't know. All this is to say, I guess, is that like there's a way to believe in your work, even if
Oof.
people aren't buying it, or if people are buying it, that doesn't mean that the parts you believe in most will even stay. So I
Mm.
think that that's like, I don't know, for me, that's something worth sharing, something I wish I knew, I guess, going in, because it's like, I don't know, there's
Yeah.
a lot of emotional stuff around
It
that.
is. It is because, your writing is you and people editing your writing, people telling you to take stuff out, people saying, "Oh, the sermons and the prayers in six sermons are too long." What does that say about you? What does it say about you? I don't know. There's just I appreciate you sharing that so much. I was just even thinking of, vision and execution.
Mm,
They were long story short, back when we were casting or throwing around names for casting the show, there were some folks who wanted Brie Larson to play X, the girl in space. And it's like, that's the opposite of who this character is. Like, she's a person of color. She is like kind of sullen and I don't know. It's interesting how people can like step into your work and really twist around what you've made. So yeah.
yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I just want to engage with some of these
Oh,
great
these are
comments here.
great. Yeah.
All the way back here to Jimmy. Actually, hold on, stand by, stand by.
Yeah, yeah.
Jimmy writes, says you have to believe in your work.
Mm.
Mateo Leon Rodriguez, author, who has a channel on YouTube, by the way, y'all, if you want to follow his journey. Nothing is a waste, IMO. You learn from everything
Mm.
you write, even if it's just a snippet. Jimmy
Yes.
writes, if you believe in your work, you don't fall into a bazillion revisions, and you believe that each piece will find someone who will buy it.
Mm.
Mateo says, also, smaller ideas or ideas that go unused can be used to make a big story. You want to
Yes.
read Takashi's here, Sarah?
Yeah, I do. So Takashi says also there's a thin line between believing in your work, oh, and being delusional with your skill. Oh, is that I believe called the Dunning-Kruger effect, um, which I don't know if we've talked about before, but Takashi continues, the more you learn and fail, the more confident you become. Yeah. Yeah, and part of believing in your work is continuing to put it out there, even as the world and the gatekeepers tell you that it's a failure.
I mean, I would say that part of believing your work is being delusional.
Do you think? You think so?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you just have to believe that. I don't know. Like with Six Sermons, I was like, this story is going to
Mm.
change the national conversation about suicide. Did
Oh.
it do that? No. But did it affect a lot of people? Yes.
Mm.
So I think just like dream big, shoot for the moon, land in the stars, that kind of thing.
That's so good, Asa. That's so good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, why else? Like, I don't know. It's I don't know. You gotta. I don't know. Just because if I want to run a 5 minute mile, then if I tell myself 6 minute mile, I'll never run that 5:30 mile. I don't know, that kind of
Right.
thing. All right,
Right.
we're gonna start writing here soon. This is Mateo. Mateo says, I don't believe in my work yet. I feel
Mm.
like once I actually finish a draft or something, I can start believing that. I hear that, and that is a great argument for finishing something. And that is something
Yeah.
that I always do personally as a writer is celebrate when I've finished something. Because yeah, who knows if you'll ever sell it, but you finished it, and that
You
is
finished it.
hard. And I
Mm.
think Mateo, you're writing a novel, if I'm correct, and that's a huge thing. Classic Minecraft parodies says, I only write in self induced psychosis. Need to get something on the page, revise and sound
Sound
my
mind.
hot.
Yes. I love that. That stream of conscious. It's a beautiful place to be. I
Uh,
love that you do that. And also you have a fantastic username.
yeah, this is fab. I love.
Oh.
Okay. All right, folks. So the game plan is how long do we want to write for, Sarah? What are you feeling?
Well, so there's shorter sprints that are more like 25 minutes. There's longer sprints that are more like an hour. So it kind of depends how deep we want to dig into our work here. And like I'm free all day. So I'm
Yeah.
kind of up for anything.
Let's I don't know. I as am I. So I think maybe we start with 24 hours. That's the spirit, Mateo.
Thanks,
That's the
Mateo.
spirit.
I
That's the
love that.
spirit.
24-hour sprint.
Yeah, let's start with 50 minutes because we're not messing around over here. And
Yeah.
then as our endurance ebbs, we can make
I
smaller
like
ones.
that.
What do you
I
think?
like that. I like that a
Yeah?
lot because it takes me a long time to like get into something, and then once I'm there, I don't want to like come back out of it for a while. So I like the idea of starting with a larger sprint and then narrowing it as we go.
Yeah,
So
I'm the same way. And one thing that both Sarah and I do, and Sarah, I'm going to let you riff on this while I get
ooh.
this set up,
Okay.
is and you might see us both turn to these. So do you want to talk about I don't know. We share this. Sarah and I both do a lot of hand writing. Do you want to talk about what that is for you as a way to warm up, as I set up the
Yeah.
timer?
Yeah. So, okay, I'm showing you here. This is pages of my manuscript that I'm working on. This is the project I'm going to be working on with you guys today. This is season 2 of Girl in Space. However, I also often do a write up. I do a warm up in my journal where I know some of you are familiar with the concept of morning pages, where you sort of clarify what's going on in your mind by like vomiting everything out verbally onto a page, getting all of your weird, stresses and worries out of the way, getting your to-do list written out so that these things aren't like, nettling your brain as you're trying to work on your craft. So I do like to start with, I don't know, often between 5 and 15 minutes of journaling. Some days it's shorter, some days it's longer. And a great place to start is classic Minecraft parodies. Is that stream of conscious? Just write how you're feeling, and sometimes that can morph into something. If you're not feeling it, then you can just transition into your work. So, is that
Yeah.
is that kind of what you end up doing, Asa?
I think that what I end up doing is exactly that. I think
Hmm.
just, I don't know, my brain benefits from moving around with a pencil or pen.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we all live in this like screen addled, like insane world. We all know the deal. So it's like breathe deeper, work slower.
Mm.
And
Hmm.
anything that keeps me away from an electronic device serves my writing pretty much.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yep.
we'll fire this up, y'all. Everyone have a good, great session. If you join, we'll just let us know how's it's going.
Yeah.
We'll loop back in about 50 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're grateful for you. I'll put in information about the Discord. Sarah will as
Oh, I will too.
well. And that's an opportunity to join this community of writers in a more intimate and sort of professional and work forward capacity.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff happening over there.
Yeah. And it's free. It's a really warm and welcoming place. I've been enjoying it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck, everybody.
All right, let's do this.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, how are folks feeling? That went by really quickly for me.
Really?
How about you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. I mean, that was definitely super productive. I feel really good about it. I'm glad we went for 15 minutes. I do think it takes, 15 minutes are just, I feel like I haven't even done anything.
Yeah, I know. I get in and it takes me a good 15, 20 minutes to like enter the writing space,
Right.
as
Yes,
silly as
exactly.
that sounds. Yeah.
No, there's like a room in my brain that it's like every
Hmm.
single time I've got to like dust off the
Yes.
log and put some WD-40, like every time.
Every time. Oh, same. Same.
Mateo, I'm so glad that you had a that productive session. Let
Yeah.
us know, everybody, how it went. Read a chapter of a book and wrote 74 words in my work in progress. That's
That's
fantastic.
wonderful. That's building momentum. I love it.
What do you read, Mateo? Anything you recommend? Sarah, what about you? What do you want to walk us through the last hour? How'd it go?
Yeah, I did just a little bit of journaling. I'd already done a little bit this morning, so I just wrapped that up. And then I know I said I would be handwriting, but you might have seen me like frowning at the screen and typing. I am transferring my rough drafts here to a digital document that I can print and give to Tim to put in the binder. Um, that so that I cannot touch it anymore.
Oh
So
my
to keep me
gosh.
from rewriting it. So this is I made some really good progress. So I'm feeling good about that.
This is not comparable, to be clear, but it does make me think of all these famous. I just read a nice, like, feminist call out recently on Instagram about Tolstoy's wife and how, she broke her back I mean, not
Oh.
literally her back, but just like gave up her entire creative life in service of Tolstoy, was constantly copying his manuscripts and was not happy about it.
Mm.
Anyway, not comparable, but it does make me think of this, and I'm glad you have a partner who
Yeah.
you can hand this stuff to and lock up, That is very
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and for both of us, it goes both ways too, because I also edit and produce like his show. Tim has
Right.
a audio drama called Omen, and so we kind of it's just nice to have that back and forth working relationship.
That's so great. That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Oh, Cemetery Boys. I love that. Mateo. I own a copy of it and I haven't started it yet, but I bought it because the cover was so pretty.
That's great.
Asa, what about you?
Okay, so I had a really exciting session, which
Oh
I'll
ho.
try to open my brain here and share it
Yeah.
all. So I similarly started out with like a little bit of kind of journaling, what's up, and then I said, now, can I turn my focus toward the story? RN. I would like to. Da, 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 da. And then I did, and then I started reading it, and several things happened in succession. I've had doubts about the tense of this story, whether it wants to be in the present and whether it wants to be in the past.
Mm.
I have had an affection for the idea that this story all takes place in one event. So it's about this kid, this young man who's running away from an abusive situation at home, and he leaves in the middle of the night and gets on his bike. And so the working title of the story is Night Ride. And I
Ooh.
love a version of this story where the whole thing is just that bike ride.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So that was in place. So I'm thinking about the tense. I'm thinking about the elegance of that as a short story. I'm going back to the story. I'm looking at the ending, which right now is very high drama y. Essentially, what happens is the dad and the brother catch up with the kid on the road, and the dad beats the crap out of the kid, and later someone murders the dad. Right?
Oh.
And it's like, but the thing is, I didn't love that ending when I wrote it. And it was one of these things where like the first draft is close to 4,000 words. And it was like, I was so close to an end that I think I was like, oh, I'm going to finish it.
Mm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that's how I got to that end. And I never like loved it. And now I had additional reason to love it because the story lives a little bit outside of that night of writing. It's like there's this coda where later someone comes back and murders the father. And so, where I'm going with all this is that the next thing I did, okay, all these thoughts are swirling around. The
It's
next thing I
perfect.
did
Yes.
is that I went back to William Faulkner's story that I've been reading this week, Barn Burning. And I said, okay, well, let's see how this story ends and what can I learn here. And how that story ends is similarly, you have a dynamic between an abusive father and a son. And in that story, the kid is the one that leads the ending. The kid turns the
Mm,
dad in, runs away, results in the dad's death. And so it brought me back to this kind of fundamental idea around protagonists,
mm,
that the boy is making decisions. The boy is taking action at the end of this story in the Faulkner story. And then I said, whoa, 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 what's going on in my story right now? Basically, the story just ends when the dad shows up and, assaults his child. This is not agency of the kid. And so then I'm like, wait a second, what if the kid attacks his dad? What if the abusive dad shows up, pulls over on the side of the road, and the kid, this is a before and after moment. I stay in the scene, I stay in the night ride. The kid has agency, the kid is asserting himself. We're in this like coming of age tradition. And I think the story wants to be that. And I don't think it needs to be big. I don't think he needs to kill his dad. Whatever kind of act of defiance this is going to be so significant because he's
mhm,
lived his 15 years the victim and target, and now he's taking agency. And so just trying to find a way to make this story more
mm.
true. More
I love
true,
that.
which incidentally I think is going to be a better story. I think it's going to be a better story if it stays in the night ride. I think it's going to be a better story if the boy has agency at the end. And I think it's going to be more true piece of art
Mm.
because I don't know, a neighbor killing the dad. It just felt easy, and I'm thinking that it is easy, and I'm thinking that this is more interesting. So I'm very excited. It was very
I love it.
successful, and you know, I don't know, feeling good. It was really good. I know that was involved in detail, but
No, it's perfect. That's
it
what we're
helps
here
me a
for.
lot.
We want to hear your process and like what's going on in your brain as you're working through this. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. So that was my experience.
Yeah, I love it. Mateo also appreciates what you shared here in the comments.
That's a lot of
Yes.
interesting thoughts you're having with your story. I said, thanks, Natab. Well, yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting to think about agency and like what matters and like why you're telling the story. And like, I don't know if it's, processing catharsis, just wanting to like, put this out there, but like, yeah, I think it says a lot about, I don't know, this doesn't make sense grammatically, but what I'm trying to get at is ultimately you're changing like the whole meaning of the story by changing the ending, and I love that. And does it align with like why you started this story a little better?
Gosh, I mean, this is where I just feel this story and that last one I wrote under the pear tree represent a huge step forward for me, where it's just like I wrote the drafts in one sitting,
Oh,
trusted the
wow.
pen. Like I didn't know what they were about. It was very just like, I'm gonna keep going. And so I didn't really have a why from the jump. I just kind of had some images and saw where they told me. But I do think that the images were like submerged and the truth of the story
Mm.
was in there all along. I want to share,
Mm.
if I can, I want to put a passage up on
Yeah,
screen
please
here
do.
that just this is like it's a little long, so I'm going to put up the whole paragraph so folks can see it. Because why I'm sharing this is because the DNA of what I just described like was in the story. So it's not like
Mm.
this, you know what I mean? It was like it's
Mhm.
there. It's there. So hang on.
It's all there. I love it. I love it.
Pull this up. Okay, y'all. Oh, that's like not big enough, is it? Let me see if I can make that bigger. No. Well, I'm just gonna have to crank up the
The font size, do it.
Font size. Thank you for your patience, everyone. And I'll
Yeah.
read this. If you're just listening, I'll read this passage also.
There we go. That's wonderful.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to read this. So this, yeah, I'm sharing this because I think that it was in there. It was already in there. It was already in there. So here we go. This is from the POV of this kid who's running away from his abusive dad in the middle of the night on a bike. Around 2 a.m., I got tired and pulled over at the truck safety off ramp and took out my peanut butter sandwich, which I'd made quickly in secret. Made an extra one when I was making lunch. Had a lie planned out. Why are you making an extra sandwich, Dad'd say. And I'd say, just trying to put on some muscle, Dad. And he'd buy that because I had been trying to put on some muscle. I had cross-country tryouts in the fall. I was the best in my school, but still not that great. Couldn't get past regionals last year. And the running magazines I'd read in the airport while we were waiting in the airport to go to Dad's in the summer had said, if you want to level up your running, you need more muscle than you think. So I was doing push-ups and squats, and I'm 15 anyway, so it's all happening anyway, and I never drop the Husqvarna anymore. In fact, I hold it with one hand. So Husqvarna, that's a brand of a chainsaw.
Oh
Anyway,
gosh.
this is just
Okay.
like in here in the middle of the story, and it's just like, oh, this like kid is like, his body is like growing, and it's like now this is not consistent with the ending I had before.
Right. Yeah.
But this is consistent with the ending that I'm currently exploring. So that was like a very cool moment too, to like retroactively see what the story was trying to tell me to write.
Oh, that's so good. What a good feeling
It is a good feeling.
when it all comes together.
Mateo Leon Rodriguez, author, says protagonists and antagonists need to have agency, right? That's what the screenwriting books will tell you. I never want to say
complicated
always or
question.
never, but
Right.
yeah, generally when characters make decisions for themselves that impact them, we find it interesting.
Yeah. Or when they learn to have their own agency, or, it's especially interesting because you're writing about like a minor who, legally probably doesn't have a lot of agency either. And
Good
so,
point.
yeah, I don't know. So there's a lot going on there with discovering and owning your agency.
Gosh, thanks for letting me share all that. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing it.
Whew.
Do we feel
Anyone else?
like,
If you're on the Discord,
oh
if you're
yeah,
in the Discord and want to share something, so we have a Discord server. If you're hopping on, Sarah and I
link
do
to
these
it here.
workshops. We have book clubs, and there's a community on the Discord. And if anyone has an excerpt longer than the character limit of YouTube and you would like to share, feel free to throw it in there, or not, of course. But yeah, so what's next for you here, Sarah?
Ooh. You mean like,
Either today or in what you're working on today.
oh,
What are you
I'm gonna continue typing this. I was in a good flow. I didn't do any rewriting, and that felt really good. I felt like, just we were talking before about trusting your writing, believing in your writing, and I felt like I could trust past Sarah to have done a good job with this. And so, yeah, and it just feels good to feel like I'm moving forward instead of circling some kind of drain.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy to hear that. That ties in so nicely with like how you started this writing session.
It
It's like I'm doing
does.
this thing and here you are doing it.
Gosh, it's
That's so
almost
great.
like there's like meaning in what we're doing.
Almost. Well, let's see. Should we try to put in another 25 minutes? Do you want to call it here? How are you feeling?
Yeah, let's do another, we'll round it out. Let's do another 25 minutes, and I think that sounds great.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
If that works for you.
That works for me. That works for me. Mateo Leon Rodriguez, author, says any excerpt I would have would be very spoilery. I am in the final battle moment.
Oh yeah, no. And we'd have like no context for it either.
Right.
So,
Okay, so I'm going to set this timer for 25 minutes.
yes.
And we'll get us going momentarily.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, I'm wondering like, oh, that 50 minutes felt so short. Maybe the 25 minutes will expand somehow, or Well, I guess I don't have to like fight my way into the brain room where the writing happens again, like we did the first time. Maybe we're already
Right.
in the brain
Yeah,
room.
I think we are.
Okay, good.
I think we definitely are. All right, we'll see you in 24 minutes.
All right, I'm here for it.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. I just realized I'm over here looking like a supervillain, but yeah,
Do you
I'm
have
very
agency as a
excited.
supervillain?
Yes, yes, I have agency as a supervillain. And that would be actually a really interesting thing to explore in writing at one point is well, the only way I can have agency is as a supervillain, so here's my story.
I love that. Prompt,
So,
you're a supervillain. What do you do with it?
yeah.
Amazing. How was everyone's writing session? Mateo, did you get some work done? Anyone else who's around, love to hear how your progress is going. Sarah, how was that session for you? What was that session for you?
That session for me was I finished typing out this episode and
Oh my God.
I'm going to print it out and it's going in the binder and I'm going to start typing out the next one. So I'm feeling
Oh,
good. Feeling good.
cheers to
Yes,
that.
thank you. Thank
Congratulations. What
you.
a successful morning.
Yeah,
Wait, what
I'm
does
I'm
that
so
mug
happy.
say?
Oh,
Not blood. Nice. Nice.
it's not. It's
Nice.
not blood.
Not blood.
No, definitely not. How about you? How was that writing session for you?
That was good. I kind of paused on the draft and took a beat to kind of
Mm,
think about it was a really kind of meta session. I was just doing some like riffing on all the things I've been doing for this story because it feels like it's going well. I think I'll make a
yeah.
little vlog about it for my YouTube channel, just analyzing my own process to see if I can improve it. So be on the lookout for that, everybody. But yeah, so I started just doing a little bit of that and found some really cool, just kind of how many little like sub steps there are in a process,
Mm,
just like getting inspiration and what are you going to use with it. And I just kind of like pieced together, I thought about what we talked about. We've been talking about Ray Bradbury a lot on the channel, and like you and I were listening or reading respectively his book about writing, and he has that
hmm
whole thing about don't think, write quickly. And then I was thinking back to how that little nugget of advice was really like sticking when I wrote the first draft of the story, and just kind of like
mm.
trying to look at all the little constellations or all the little details that made for where I'm at today with this story. And because they all matter. So yeah.
They do. I love that. And that's something that, we're always talking about like how many words did you get today? How productive were you? And getting your thoughts in order and like understanding the core of what you're writing, like and coming to that understanding is such an important part of the process that never gets, I don't know, it doesn't get any attention. So I love that you did that.
Yeah, it was great. Well, everyone, we're right at the 2 hour mark. We appreciate you.
Hmm.
Be sure to subscribe to our respective YouTube channels. Both Asa and Sarah, both of us have channels. There's a Discord community that's growing. And we'll hope to see you again. In addition to these Friday writing events, Sarah and I also do a story club. If you're into horror stories or just good stories in general, you can find that as well. Anyway, any party thoughts, Sarah, to everyone?
Yeah, this has been such a great way to like kick off my weekends. I don't know, I'm feeling good about it. I hope that I saw in the comments Mateo says I did not get any writing done, getting ready to make breakfast. That's okay. Like the reason that we write every day or the reason that we write several days a week is because life happens sometimes, and that's completely valid. And your breakfast will hopefully fuel your writing going forward.
I want
So
breakfast now.
it's good. It's good. Breakfast is good. Note taking is good. Getting your thoughts together, journaling, even taking a nap if that's what you needed today. It's all writing, it's all part of the process.
All right. On that note, bye, everybody.
All right, friends. See you soon.
See ya.